Ever wonder if your current network setup is truly operating at its peak efficiency? If the answer is yes, then today's topic, router on a stick, might just be the missing piece of the puzzle. Now, to the uninitiated, router on a stick may sound like a peculiar term, but in reality, it's a simple and effective way to streamline your network operations. So, what exactly is it? Essentially, it's a method of routing network traffic using a single physical interface. To dive deeper into this, imagine a network scenario where you have multiple VLANs, but only one router. Traditionally, you'd need a separate physical interface on the router for each VLAN. However, with a router on a stick setup, you can route traffic between these VLANs using just one interface. Now, isn't that neat? Now, onto the process of setting up a router on a stick. Here's a step-by-step guide using a Cisco router. Firstly, connect your router and switch. Be sure to use a trunk link to allow traffic from multiple VLANs to pass through. Next up, configure your router. Start by enabling the router interface that's connected to the switch. Then create subinterfaces for each VLAN on this physical interface. Remember, each subinterface should have a unique VLAN tag that matches the VLAN it's responsible for routing. Once you've done that, assign an IP address to each subinterface. This IP address will be the default gateway for the devices in the corresponding VLAN. Afterward, configure your switch. Define the VLANs and assign the switch ports to the appropriate VLANs. Make sure the switch port connected to the router is configured as a trunk port. Lastly, configure the devices in each VLAN with the appropriate IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway. The default gateway should be the IP address of the corresponding subinterface on the router. And voila! You've successfully set up a router on a stick. To recap, we've covered what a router on a stick is and why it's beneficial. It allows for efficient routing between multiple VLANs using just one physical interface on a router. We've also gone through the step-by-step process of setting one up on a Cisco router, connecting the router and switch, configuring the router and its sub-interfaces, configuring the switch and its VLANs, and finally, configuring the devices in each VLAN. Remember, technology is ever evolving, and staying in the know is the key to ensuring your network operations run smoothly. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep innovating. Until next time.